Welcome back to another episode of Chalk and Cheese. I'm Dan, this is Chase, and today we're going to get into our segments of Chase's Challenge, Dan's Dumb, and Let's Get Cheesy. First up, we'll go to Chase. What's your challenge for this week?
Well, before we get started, it's good to have my co-host back. It was lonely doing an episode by myself, but now I've got him back with me. Now, Chase's Challenge. We spoke a little bit in one of my YouTube shorts I released about the free throw percentage of professionals.
Yeah.
Now, I actually went on the NBA website, Gilmore, and out of 500 NBA players' statistics, 160 are shooting below 70%. And there's even some that are shooting below 50, some that are in the 30s. Yeah. And my challenge is, can anyone give me a reason why they think professionals should be shooting at that low?
I find that odd as well, just with the trend of the game at the moment where everyone's becoming a spot-up shooter.
A better shooter.
So maybe, I don't know, maybe they're getting less opportunities to do their free throws because there's not as much driving to the hoop. So there's not as much foul, so maybe they don't work on that as much. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you would think with that much shooting happening now, that people would be able to convert at the free throw line with no defense and just crowd noise. That's it.
And I think with the NBA as well, it's like they've been trying, it's been an issue that they're not putting it on the player to try and improve. They're actually trying to change the rules so it doesn't happen any much. So you know when you had the hacker Shaq and they would foul Shaq to get into the free throw line so it'd miss and they'd get the ball, they actually ended up, I think, changing the rules to where it's only the last 2 minutes that foul counted to.
Well, they've brought in another type of foul, which is just a what do you call it? Like a bad sportsmanship foul. So it's not just a normal foul that you try and stop them going up the court and get them. They'll actually go.
Oh yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
It's not a flagrant. It's just before that.
Yeah,
but they'll allow them go shoot the ball and then get the ball back.
Like a non-basketball foul.
Yeah.
You just foul. Yeah. Because that's what I was like. It should be on the player to improve to where, I don't know, some players are becoming liabilities that they've got to come off the field when it's coming towards the end of the game because they can't make a free throw.
Yeah.
And if you're a pro getting paid so much and you're shooting daily or even like you said, maybe you're not getting in training practice, but you should be taking
it upon yourself.
Upon yourself to improve that part of your game to, I don't know, help your team to become a better player for yourself. So hopefully you get more minutes. Because if I was a player and the end of game, I'd want to be on the field. Yeah. And if my coach was taking me off because I couldn't shoot free throws, and that's where my challenge is. Can anyone tell me, is there a better reason why they're missing? Is it they're tired? Is that a good enough reason?
But the thing is, there's that much sports science that goes into recovery and performing under pressure, performing under fatigue. The fact that free throws are dropping in percentage, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I know, even at the end of my little video I made, like, they call free throws for a reason.
Yeah.
You're not getting defended. Yeah. And they've got clips of Steph when he's shooting a three-pointer with no one defending him.
Yeah.
I think there's a clip of him going like 100 in a row.
Yeah.
Just something crazy. No one defending him, so he's just shooting. But he's getting 100 threes in a row.
Yeah.
And you're telling me there's a big man shooting 30 out of his 100 free throws with no one defending him. Like,
yeah, I think it's a lost art in the game.
Yeah.
People just think they're going to get a shot from outside or, get their
layup.
2 points.
Yeah, 3-pointer layup.
But the funny thing is when you see some of those bigger men shoot at the free throw line and you look at their form, it's like, how are you in the NBA where that used to be such a critical thing? Like, it'd be a very small percentage. Like, I remember, is it Marion from Cleveland had a weird, like, twisty action, and that was a small percentage would be shooting like that. Most people would have a decent form.
No, you're talking about action. They actually showed one of the old guys doing an underarm, the granny free throw.
Oh, yeah.
And they spoke to Shaq about it.
The old semi-pro.
And Shaq actually said, even if that improved his percentage higher, just because of the way it looked, he wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, Shaq, for someone that's shooting, I don't know what Shaq's career was, 40%. I don't think he was higher than 50%. No. You're like, if that gets you to 70, Shaq,
you do it.
Yeah. And they spoke about even Shaq. He, like, for his 3-year stint when he was Lakers, he was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And they sort of said if he had Jordan's work ethic or Kobe's work ethic, he could be probably top 3 player of all time.
Yeah.
But just his work ethic let him down. And the free throw is something simple where if you could get yourself shooting at 70 or 60 over his career, how many more points is that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he wasn't willing to do it.
Yeah.
So with that being said, please, we starting our new show. We want audience involvement. So if you all can let us know what you think the reason is. If you think we're being a little bit generous, 70%, should it be they get 80%? Like, what's the number they should be doing?
The best scoring percentage would be 40 from the 3-point, 70 from, or 60 from the field, and 90 from the free throw line.
Well,
which just don't think that exists that much anymore.
Yeah, I think Kevin Durant and I don't know which star's doing that.
Yeah.
So that's it for Chase's Challenge this week. Next, Gilmore, your first segment we're getting you into.
Yeah, Dan's dumb.
What's your issue?
Obviously, coaching a lot of sports, especially in like early years and stuff with teenagers and whatever, but you just see the role models. You see the basketball at the moment, the amount of dissent and disrespect towards other players. People call it swagger, but there's a point where it's like, you're just being an absolute prick, dude. And the thing came up with the NCAA Girls Championship, the LSU versus Iowa. There's a bit of debate going on. Like, there's trash talk. That's fine. Like, I'm all for trash talk, but you leave it on the field.
Yeah.
And I think what's going around at the moment is that Caitlin Clark from Iowa did the "You Can't See Me" by John Cena in the moment to the fans and to the players, but it was like the game was still going.
Yeah.
With the girl from LSU, game's finished, she goes and finds her just to give it back to her and stick it to her. And I'm like, okay, you've premeditated that, and you're just trying to be a bit of an a-hole about it.
I don't know, and I think what's sort of happening with that sportsmanship and stuff like that is it's seeping in from the professionals and working its way down now where younger and younger
I think
people are starting to do it.
The cause for that, I think, speaking from Australian sports, so you got AFL, NRL, the big ones here. Yeah. The reach that the clubs and the professional level have into schools, kids can be getting signed in grade 9, grade 10, and they're already in that environment of, look at me. Like, every kid is entitled to have the opportunity to play first grade.
Yeah.
But they act like they're already there when they're not there. And it's because you look, I know Panthers get a run for their money with being classless, but I mean, when you watch them play sometimes, you're like, can you just stop being an idiot and just play the game for what it is? Like, don't hold on to grudges. Just play and move on.
I don't know. I like this saying, like you said before, keep it on the field. It looks like that's done now with social media and stuff like that. Because, like you said, if I tackle someone and I'm like, get up, or you say something to them when they're on the ground and the game's still going, they get a chance to get back at you and do something. That's fine. But when the game's finished and you won, I don't call that trash talk when you say, like, it's easy to talk when the game's over and your team's won.
Yeah, and no one can come back and swing at you when you say your piece.
I don't know if that's the issue or the struggle with it at the moment. Back in the day when you'd say something, someone would get you off the ball or something, and now you can't get away with anything. Yeah. So you can talk and talk, and you can look at someone and you know what they're going to do back.
Yeah. I mean, you think of Nick White from the Wallabies. He's the absolute pest.
Yeah.
But he's good at being a pest. And he just gets under the skin in the game, and then they leave it on the field. They'll go have a beer with each other, with the other team and whatever. And I think that's the lost art at the moment.
Yeah.
I think it's people hold on to grudges, and then I didn't get to finish the conversation or didn't get to finish the fight, so I'll say my piece after the game. And then it goes in the media, and people are talking about bad sportsmanship and not the quality of competition.
Yeah. That's where, I don't know, the sportsmanship is one of those things where you try to drill it in your kids from a young age and get them to work on it to be better, like good losers, good winners, being able to control themselves no matter the result. And at the moment, if you watch probably any game, you'd have someone that's either screaming at a ref during the game, and a lot of the time saying something silly to the ref that you shouldn't be saying.
Yeah.
Then you get them saying something to players across from them, for players down, and you go, if kids are watching this, are we sending the right message to them? Or because they're professionals and a lot of the kids go, you know what, I want to be a professional league player, does that make it okay to say it?
Yeah, they think it's like part and parcel. You've got to be a little bit cocky to get your way. But I'm like, there's plenty, like, you just look at Christian Walsh.
Yeah.
Like, he's an absolute competitor, and he's just a you don't see him buying
Yes.
into any of that stuff.
Yeah, and that's where I don't know. It's hard because as a sport, how do you? I think the NFL had it with the flag for taunting,
Yeah.
but even they're starting to get a little bit easier on that where they do
Yeah.
let the players do something. So that was one sort of way to stop it. But NFL and NBA, they're probably the worst two for it.
Yeah.
With their players, because
Yeah.
do you remember back in Origin 2002 where we actually absolutely got destroyed?
Yeah.
They absolutely
It
destroyed
was like
us.
54.
And they
5 or
started doing their
something,
celebrations
Yeah.
with the bomb and all that,
Yeah.
and you're like, I don't know where we got to a point that winning the game
yeah.
wasn't enough.
I mean, just look at the climate of society.
Yeah.
Like everyone thinks they're entitled. Well, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but they also think everyone should take their opinion
Yes.
as truth.
Yeah.
Like, say your piece, no one likes it, move on, but then they get offended.
So-
It's possible to be a professional athlete and even a student athlete and be able to hold your head high. Because, I mean,
Yeah.
when I coach a team, I'd take character over skill most of the time.
Yeah.
Or if not all the time. Because you can teach a kid to kick a ball. You
Yeah.
can't teach him, or it's a lot harder to teach him to stop being an
A little bit
absolute
silly. Yeah.
tool bag.
And that's where we sort of started our chalk and cheese to have tough sporting discussions, and we want to get the audience involved. So with Dan's Dump, does anyone agree that sportsmanship is sort of lacking a little bit with all types of sports, or do you think we're just a little bit old-fashioned?
Yeah.
And
Because I don't mind, I do mind bad sportsmanship, but I think the fact it's getting celebrated or it amps people up now,
Yeah.
I think that's the dangerous
of a-
line.
yeah.
Like, you can say your piece, have a little bit of bad sportsmanship, but just like swallow your pride and apologize,
Yeah.
or swallow your pride, move on, whatever. But it just gets turned into something else that takes away from the game, I reckon. So,
Yeah. All right, so that's it for Dan's Dump. We've introduced our two new segments, Chase's Challenge, Dan's Dump. Lastly, we're getting into Let's Get Cheesy, where we talk about what we're looking forward to in the upcoming sporting weekend. So, what are you looking forward to this weekend, Gilmore? Your Cats getting their
Mate,
first win?
well, yeah, after I saw their first two losses and saw the next three games, which was Suns, Saints, someone else,
And
Hawthorn.
you thought, hang on, we'll
I'm like,
be 3-2.
we need to be 3-2
Yeah.
after 5 weeks. But after that performance against the Suns, this is like Cats of 3 years ago. They'd lose against bottom 8 teams and then beat the top 4 teams.
Yeah,
So they need to win the next 2 weeks to have any chance to be in the top 8.
yeah.
And everyone's saying they don't care. It's a bit insulting to say players don't care because they've won a premiership.
Yeah.
But I think the fire or the level of intensity is still lacking because they have won a
I
premiership.
wonder if that's, you think about Selwood's been there for years, he's won everything, and to get back up and win again, maybe he had that attitude that the players would follow him.
Yeah.
Now who's your new captain? Is
Yeah,
it Danger?
Dangerfield.
Yeah, Danger's been fighting for that one for 12, 13 years. Gets it. Is he?
He's a great personality. He's a great
Yeah.
representative of a club. Whether he's the on-field captain you need, I don't know.
No.
But I think, I think they're still in the holiday period. Because when was it 20 COVID year,
Yeah.
they lost to
19, yeah.
Richmond in the final.
Yeah.
They hit the ground running the next 2 years to get up and get that opportunity
Yeah.
again. And I
They did
think
get-
they're just in a holiday period. So if they're going to beat the Saints this weekend, I think it's going to be an absolute cracker of a game.
Yeah.
So see how we go with that.
Yeah, I don't know, mine. You know I like my Broncos and I like the AFL, but my sport is the EPL. And my Man United, we've had probably one of the best seasons we've had in a long time where we've won a trophy. We're actually in every cup that we started, we're still in it. So
Yeah.
we haven't lost a knockout game
Yeah.
this year. We've been in the top 4 all season. The wheels are starting to fall up a little bit The wheels started to fall off the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But our best player has been red carded twice, I think, in the last 8 games. So he misses.
wow.
So he misses games.
Yeah.
We've got one more game without him this week against Everton. We've gone 1 win, 1 loss. So if we win this one without him and he comes back, my United are going to have a good end of season.
Yeah.
So my one is just for my United to get a win against Everton this weekend. I really need a win and get our best player back and finish the season strong. So I'm looking forward to my EPL game this weekend with Man United. You're looking forward to your Geelong hopefully getting their first win of the season.
Like, if they lose this week, I want it to be Saints playing out of their skin.
Yeah.
I don't want them to put an effort in like Geelong. Like against the Suns, like that. I just couldn't watch it anymore. I'm like, there's no way.
Well, out there, let us know what you're looking forward to this sporting weekend.
Yeah.
AFL, NRL, well, NBA, getting ready for the playoffs. Let's see who's going to finish in those positions. And we'll speak to you all next week on another episode of our Chalk and Cheese.
See you later.